Well, today we're making a cream cheese cheesecake, but we're going to do this a little different, so we're going to do it in segments. The first segment we're going to use a 9-inch spring foam pan, make a crust, and then we'll put it in the refrigerator. Then we're going to take and make a cheesecake, and a cheesecake is going to have peanut butter in it this time. And then the final stage is to make our topping go on it, which will be a caramelized banana. And so if you think about all the things that's going together, maybe if you're as old as I am, you'll know who likes this type of sandwich. There was a singer back in the days. So let's get started. Well, first of all, I got 2 packs of graham crackers that I have already pre-crushed, and I got them in my Ziploc because I like them like this. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put this in a bowl, just like that. And I've melted 1 stick of unsalted butter that we're going to pour in. Got a fork here. We're just going to mix this all up nice and good. Everything's good and mixed. And it's going to be kind of like a wet sand, maybe. If you think of it as sand. Is the way of doing it. And once we get it done, okay, what I've done is I've taken a 9-inch spring pan. I put parchment paper in the bottom, so it'll be easier to slide out once we put this all together. So we just want to put our crust inside. And depending on how thick you want your crust, you could actually use 3 of them. Because you got to remember, you're going to, once you put it in, get it all leveled out. And once you get it level, and this is the trick, get it leveled out. Now you got to push it all down, flatten it out. And with this process, it's really easy to take your hand and do it or something like that. But it works best if you just use a good old-fashioned flat bottom jar or glass and just start on the outside, work your way around as you go, making it flat. And when you do this, you'll notice that it's leaving a ridge as you mash down on the ones on the center, and that tells you how much you're actually packing down on it. Now, you may have a little bit on the edge, part of it right here, that don't go down, which is fine. That's okay. Now, once you get it down nice and firm, then we come back with our fork, and those little side pieces, we're just going to go all the way around the side and push it down. And you can do this with a fork or a spoon, doesn't matter. You just want to push it down so it's level. And I kind of do this because it makes the crust maybe 1.5 to 2 inches thick. It gives it a good crust. And for this type of sandwich, this type of cheesecake, we want a crunch in it when we bite into it. So I kind of make it a little thicker on it, and it really makes a great difference. Now, what I did this Tuesday. I made samples. I give it to a lot of my coworkers and friends to see if they like this recipe, and they really did. So I'm gonna stick this in the refrigerator, and then we'll get started on our cheesecake. So I'll be with you in just 1 second. Well, that's fine. You can just leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, you can right over there by the table. There you go. All right.
I can't see you.
Well, I'm fine. You don't have to see me. Okay. Is it taping? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to work this out. What I've done is I've got 3 packs of cream cheese, and one of my coworkers was asking me what kind I use, and I told him that I like Philadelphia. I like the texture of it better. And she asked me about using a low fat. Well, I've never done a low fat, so I'm not sure how it's gonna be, but it's not something that it's not impossible to try. So my Philadelphia's been sitting out a while. I've gotten it room temperature, and now this thing makes a little bit of noise when it gets, starts blending. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna do it nice and slow, and as it starts up and I get it going a little bit more, we'll kind of turn the volume down just a little bit so it won't hurt you. So I got my cream cheese in. I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. And then this is the special ingredient. Good old-fashioned peanut butter, and you can use chunky if you'd like. I'm not big on chunky, but chunky would be probably do just as good. But this is 1 cup of peanut butter. Now there we go. Now we're just gonna turn it on low. Whoa! I got it on real high. And let it start mixing in together. And the catch to this is the peanut butter and the cream cheese mixing in together and getting it good incorporated. So it will take, you will have to keep steadily using your spatula to push it down so it gets incorporated really well. And this is going to be kind of thick, okay? But that's the whole purpose of this particular cheesecake. Now, I've got 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla that I'm putting in. Now that I've gotten the powdered sugar mixed in, I'm going to turn it up and start doing more and more. Now this only takes about 2 minutes to mix it in. And what I recommend is, if you can, you get you a countertop. Because a lot of these recipes, they're good if you let it mix and your hands are free. Because you need to keep moving it around versus doing a little bit and then having to do it again, do a little bit more. So it works out really good. Yeah. This will probably be the only cheesecake that I make that my wife wanted, because she don't like peanut butter. So for just a second, I've got to turn it up. Won't be long. Now what we're going to do is just the basic essentials. We have to get everything off, and we need to incorporate everything that's in the bowl from the bottom to the top. Make sure we got all our cream cheese and peanut butter and everything mixed together. And I know somebody's saying, man, my son, my daughter, my husband, oh, they would love this because they love peanut butter. So this is a really, really tasteful recipe. I've seen different versions of it that I've run across. Other than some of the things that I do, a lot of them are pretty much the same. They call for a little bit less one thing or another. So it's not a bad recipe. It's actually a pretty good one. It's an easy one to make too. So, all right, one more. I'm just gonna do one slow mix. There we go. And as you can tell, I do make a mess sometimes. This is when I like to have my grandkids over. I can say, hey, somebody want a bowl? And we're just stuff going on, a little different. Okay, don't need this. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sponge pan out, and we're going to put it together. Now we got our sponge pan, and it's been sitting in the refrigerator for a few minutes. We just wanted it to kind of set. And this is our mixture. It looks really like a light colored peanut butter. And this will be, well, I'm hoping, and the way it looks, we're going to have about 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches, 3 inches of cheesecake here. Now, if you start in the center, just work your way around, and then just start pushing it out. Try to flatten it off as you go. Once you get the texture all the way out. I know this is one of those times you say, man, I sure wish I could listen to some music while I'm doing this. But if you do, you might miss something. So, and when I did it the other day with my coworkers, we were all I was talking to them. I said, you know, I tried it once right after I did it. I said the difference was it tasted 100% better when you set it in the refrigerator and you let it get cold. And they was like, really? I said, yeah. So one of my other co-workers, he's like, all right, Bear, you gonna bring a whole one to work? And you know how co-workers are. Yeah, I'm gonna bring one. Don't know when, but I'm gonna bring you one. And, so I'm gonna make another one. All right. Now it's looking semi pretty. So it ain't super pretty, but we're right about here. We're top enough that we can put our glaze on it, and so it'll be close to being this whole pan will be the cheesecake. So we need to let this sit in the refrigerator for about an hour and a half to get good and chilled, set up. So when we make our banana glaze that we're gonna put on top of it with some chocolate drizzle, that it all just sits and makes a layer that's gonna be nice and pretty. So we'll be back with you here just shortly. Well, now that we've had our cheesecake in the refrigerator for a while, so it's melted down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make the glaze to go on topping. And what I like to do is put it on medium heat. And I want to melt my butter down. This is 2 tablespoons of butter and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. You can use light brown or dark brown, it doesn't matter. And what we want to do, we want this to caramelize just a little bit. So we want to mix it all up so that as the sugar caramelizes in with it. And it takes a few minutes. It ain't something that's going to happen within 30 seconds, you know. I mean, just the way things are. It takes a couple minutes for it to work. And what we're going to add is 1 cup of half and half, or I'm sorry, half a cup, half and a half, and then I use half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Gives it a little bit of a kick, which is good because once it caramelizes, then you start adding everything in together. Mix it in real well, but you want to stir it up real good. Make sure everything gets incorporated. And that's all right if you make a little bit of a mess, it won't hurt it. And what we want to do is we want to get this to come to a little bit of a slight boil, just enough so everything's cooking in good. But continue to stir as you do it. That'll help keeping everything mixed in good. Keeps it from, getting burned on your pan. But you just, I'll put it on, I'll let it cook, and I'm gonna go watch TV, or I'm gonna go drink me a cup of tea or something like that. You really need to stay with this as it does it. It's nice and dark right now. So what it's going to do is it's going to start to cook. And as it cooks, it's going to get it. And if you use, I've had people say, hey, it works better if you use white sugar, crystal sugar. Well, if you do that, then you get a caramel texture, whereas what we want is a caramelized glaze texture with bananas. So we're going to set our bananas in here after it starts to cook a little bit, and this is going to tenderize, our bananas just a hair, so that when you put it on your plate, you put them on the plate, then you'll take this and you'll sprinkle it over the top of it, and you put it in the refrigerator for a little bit and let it settle. Then at the very end, once before you cut it, you're taking it out of your pan and everything. You'll take, if you want, you can take some nuts, pecans, walnuts. If they're fine grated, you can sprinkle over the top if you want to. I like to do chocolate. So I'll melt up me some chocolate, and I'll just make me a little drizzle all over the top of it before I serve it. And that kind of gives it a neat little bite. It tastes really well. Now once we make this, it's got to sit, once you put it on the cheesecake, it'll sit you put it in the refrigerator for about 3 hours, and it'll sit nice and firm. Everything will be good, and you'll be ready to eat it. And this is one of those things where make Sunday dinner, maybe something you make on Saturday night. For Saturday nights where you had the kids all day week and they're doing real well in school, and you want to give them something sweet. This is a really good one to do. I think it has a great texture to it. My coworkers seem to have loved it, which I guess some coworkers, they're like, hey, it's free. But I make samples when I do them, and I want them I got a great diverse people, and I want them to give me their honest opinion. If it's too salty, if it's too sweet, maybe you could use something else. And that's the way, I tweak my recipes as I do them. And I do have recipes I use that were somebody else's that I ask, hey, can I change this part, or can I change this? Well, when you do that, it changes the recipe altogether, and the taste, it all gets changed. So you really want to make sure when you're doing it that you don't just change it and say that's it. Do it one time and make a sample. Try it, make sure it's going to be all right the way you like it. And if you do that, then you say it, that'll work out. So now that it's starting to bubble up. I'm gonna let it bubble up for just a few seconds. I'm gonna grab my bananas that I've already gotten cut. I set them in the fridge right a while ago because I want them to just to, keep it a little chill. You can do the bananas different. You can do I guess you would say a long version. You can do them in just cutting your banana in half. You can do them different ways. A lot of people don't put a lot of bananas. I use about two long bananas, and I cut them up in different variations. Just because I like the texture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my bananas in. And this is gonna cool off just a hair with the bananas, but you wanna let them caramelize about a minute on each side. And once you get them all done, then you want to take this and set it to the side for just a minute. Let it cool down just a little. You don't want to put this hot stuff on top of your cheesecake. That wouldn't give a good taste. You'd be like, oh, what happened? Well, now you see how it's already starting to chill. So we just want to let it cook for just a few minutes. Get everything covered up real good. So there's a lot of flavor right there. And then what we're doing, we just want to see how the coldness of the bananas kind of turn my heat down a little bit. So what we're going to do is, now we're just going to let it cook for a minute or so. Then we're going to start flipping everybody. You gotta really make sure your bananas are separated, because if you don't, they'll stick together and you'll be like, wait a minute, I only got one side. So now they're temperature's starting to come back up. I'm just gonna reach in and, it's gonna be, if you don't know how many bananas you put in, you really just gonna have to make sure you try to turn each one of them. And, it's a guessing game on exactly which ones you got, which ones you didn't get. But if you start in one area and work your way around, it makes it a little bit easier. And if you do it too long, your banana will wilter and just fall apart. So, make sure your bananas are ripe. You don't want one that's kind of overdid its time, so to speak. You want to make it just so it's right. And if you want to add more bananas after you've made it, you say, I need some more bananas on mine. Well, then you go ahead and before you pour your sauce on it, go ahead and cook you another batch of them. You'll be fine. Okay. Now that we get to this point, all we want to do is we just want to turn our stove off. Just let it simmer up a little bit. So we don't want it scorching hot, Want it to chill down. Won't take but just a minute. a pot holder over here by the cheesecake. Okay. So now what I want to do is, now that I've gotten to this stage, I'm going to move the cheesecake over to the other section where I got my cheesecake at. So I'm gonna take my sauce over. So let me set get my camera set. So now that I got my cheesecake done, what we're going to do is we're going to dress up our cheesecake a little bit. And all we're going to do is just take the bananas out one at a time, and you're just going to place them around your pan. They don't have to be next to each other. You can gaps, you know, if you want to, and like you make a banana sandwich, you know, you're just making a cheesecake. It's got a banana glaze on it. Kind of like making a strawberry pie. You got all these strawberries, and you say, man, I gotta put strawberries on there. And you put them everywhere. Well, that's just awesome. And when you do it, you'll find out how I need 1.5 bananas, depending on your size of your pan, really. This 9-inch works really great. And it's just about 2 bananas will just about cover an entire 9-inch pan. As you can tell, it's just going everywhere. Get bananas everywhere. So, and once it sets up, oh man, it is just awesome. Now that I got my bananas in, I'm gonna make sure I ain't got nothing left. Okay, we're in good shape there. Now all I want to do is I just want to scoop up some glaze, and I just want to put some glaze on the tops of it. Kind of keep everything kind of like it was. And it's gonna, once you put it in the refrigerator and it sets up, kind of gives it a little bit of a topping, you might say. And this is really good. Don't overdo it, because it'll run down the sides, or you think it's having a moon. Okay. Now, so we've got it covered, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to let it sit for about 3 hours, and then we'll come back and take it out of the pan and show you our finished product. So just hang in. We'll be back in about 3 hours.
Let's see, it's got to be tall enough for this.
Well, so we got the finished product. We got to remove the pans, and so if you haven't figured out what we said at the very beginning about who likes this kind of sandwich, it was Elvis Presley. He liked a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich, which is something that he liked, and so we kind of went off of that after watching one of his movies last weekend, and so we thought we'd make something that kind of incorporate all that together. So I'm going to take a little bitty slice. And as you can tell, like I said, We have a little bitty crust, but you get a real thick cheesecake, and then you have the icing on top. And one of my coworkers said, because I told him I hardly ever get to eat anything I make. So this one is one of my favorites, because I do love all three items. So. I'm gonna talk my wife into trying this one, because this is on. Dang, you're gonna try this one. But if you I will try to post the recipe for it. It's fairly simple. It's really easy to do, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I'm Baird, and this has been Baird's Heavenly Sweets. Thank you, and have a great day.